you imagine working in the food industry and you just because, you hand someone their sandwich, it's like now you're suddenly marked for death.
Oh
Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
no. I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, we're seen.
It is our first scene podcast, I guess.
Yes, for all of you who are familiar with us at Cassette Take here, we typically do things off camera. It's all audio. This is our first little attempt, a little experimenting here regarding visual. So you get to see our nice, beautiful / ugly faces. Like movies, it's all subjective, except for obviously ours, but it's okay. We know that you love us. So
Gosh, what a great start.
we're great and humble. But no, guys, you are obviously here to learn our Superman 2025 James Gunn directed by
Superman.
Superman.
Yes.
I'm just like, where am I leading into this? But yeah, no, our spoiler review. If you've not checked out our non-spoiler review, definitely look into the description here. We'll put a link in and you can check it out there. But here you're going to get our unfiltered, absolutely sheer thoughts on Superman 2025, which I'm sure everyone is dying to hear.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So we saw it this past weekend and absolutely loved it. Go check our non-spoiler review to kind of get general information, but I'm so excited to talk about spoilers today.
Yes. So again, if you have not seen the movie yet, or again, you're one of those weirdos that just loves to have your movie spoiled for you before you go, what are you doing with your life, first of all? But secondly, please eject, eject at this point from the podcast. And again, go back to our non-spoiler review or come back when you've seen the movie. But without further ado, it's spoiler time.
Yeah.
You've been warned.
Let's go. Okay, so we'll start off with the story of Superman. So Superman, everyone knows the origin story. He comes to Earth. He is given this message from his parents about, do good, help serve the people of Earth. And it's revealed that that message was corrupted and it actually is overruled them. And that kind of is like the main focal point. Lex Luthor discovers that Superman wasn't sent here to be this loving hero. He was sent here to basically rule over the people of Earth. And I don't know about you, but that was really different, I felt like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's usually his his biological parents that are the beginnings of this entry of his life being this beacon of hope, right? So that putting that new twist on things really does demonstrate the direction of where James Gunn, I think, wants to take the DCU and a lot of these characters is, yes, keep what's true at heart in play, but at the same time, put a new spin on things just where it's pivotal enough to keep you interested, but also to be familiar at the same time. So he's playing that interesting balancing act, and I think here it absolutely works. You have Superman that's essentially supposed to be initially this new Omni-Man of sorts for the DCU, and just because he didn't get this message, and with how he was raised, we don't have a Brightburn situation.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, thank goodness for that. But yeah, no, it was such a new take, such an interesting take, and it really does lead into the rest of the movie of Superman and Clark kind of figuring out their whole positioning on where they should be on this Earth.
Yeah, and I liked that. I thought it was different enough than what we've seen in Man of Steel and the Christopher Reeves movie that this guy is he has to question his whole reality of, wait, I was supposed to be sent here for this reason, but now I realize that this is the other reason I was sent here. And I think it's interesting because it kind of leads into the Lois and Clark dynamic. I know we didn't really talk about that too much in our non-spoiler review, but they are so different. Like, they're completely opposite of each other, and I like that dynamic too, so
Yeah, it's the epitome of opposites attract, and it works wonderfully here. I mean, Rachel Brosnahan and David Cornsweet absolutely have that awesome chemistry that I haven't seen quite in a movie in some time. Obviously, there's been great examples here and there, but I think this is hands down the best in a while. So Definitely was glad to see them working together on this, and they really did bring it to both these characters, and that contrast, especially in that one scene where she's interviewing him, really shows right out of the gate
Yeah.
their dynamic and how it works wonders, but at the same time can really play into the conflict of interest with Lois wanting to be the best reporter she could possibly be, to Clark wanting to be cautious, but, just be unapologetically kind and the best person he can be. So it's definitely at odds, but at the same time, it's held together so delicately, but so well by the strength of their love for each other.
Yeah. And I also want to bring in something else because I said something in the non-spoiler review that I feel like might be manipulated. Lex Luthor is the villain, by the way. And so don't get
What?
I know, but like don't get me wrong because I said something like Lex kind of has a point. He's the villain overall. He straight up shoots a guy in this movie. When that happened, we saw it twice. My mouth like gaped open both times because it was just so different. He shoots a man that was helping Superman earlier in this movie, and oh my gosh, I just couldn't believe it. I It was just different from what we've seen in Marvel and what we've kind of seen in DC. I just did not think they were gonna go that way right away.
Yeah, not even like just helping him do something significant. It's just a
Mhm.
matter of helping him just stand back up, and he bought a sandwich from him once, I
Hey
mean,
man,
can
better
you,
be a good sandwich.
can you imagine working in the food industry and you just because, you hand someone their sandwich, it's like now you're suddenly marked for death.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, it must have been a dang good bagel.
I hope so.
No, but yeah, just this movie really demonstrates how evil, like, not only the contrasting between his love interest, but the contrast between him and his main antagonist, Lex Luthor. You really hate Lex throughout this
Mhm.
movie, and not in the sense of, wow, you feel for him and then hate him because he does something bad later on. It's like, no, from the get-go, he's an asshole.
Mhm.
Like, just nonstop, unapologetically an asshole. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, to have Clark and Superman be unapologetically the exact opposite, it really does make for a classic, but also refreshing and sincere back and forth, not only in dialogue, but just in action with how they convey their conflict. And it's just so interesting, which is weird because, again, it's a very traditional conflict we've seen so many times. But I think in recent years with movie making and storytelling, we've kind of lost that sense of good versus evil, where it's like we always want to play in the gray area, which isn't bad. There's a lot of instances in which it works, but it's very refreshing to have that, like, Lord of the Rings kind of, it's more black and white
Yeah.
here than ever before, and that's kind of what makes it gray. Like, you can't have gray without the black and the white.
Mhm.
So, I think that this movie is a perfect demonstration of that, and it just works so well, and to have a movie so unapologetic as a whole that way, it's very captivating when you're watching it on the big screen.
I'm so excited because I kind of have a theory about what they may do with Lex Luthor in the future. So I'm super excited to see because we know that Lex isn't a one and done villain. Like, this isn't like Marvel. Like, they're not going to kill him off. Like, this is really important that he stays in the picture.
Here's the interesting thing about that.
Oh,
So, when we were watching the movie and it gets to the end where Luther is defeated, I because he's still high up in his little floating spaceship building thing, whatever you want to call it, his hybrid car, I guess you could call it. But yeah, he's in there, and Superman's already defeated him, released all the information about why he's basically an asshole all the time, no matter what. Uh, I thought for a moment the way that how defeated Lex Luthor looked in that moment that he was
mhm.
gonna jump out of the building and try to kill himself.
Really?
Yeah, just the way that Nicholas Hoult portrayed it, it felt like he was going to do that for a moment. And it would have been so interesting. I mean, granted, I think Superman would have saved him.
Oh, yeah. I was like, he would have died. No, die. Superman would have saved him.
It's like, no, I have a cyanide tooth. Like midway through, splat.
Oh god. But you bring up a good point because even David Cornsweet has this monologue at the end where he's like, "Let's, I'm human," and I hope like he has this long dialogue and he's like, "I hope you realize that you have this strength too." Like he really does see him as human and wants to like make sure Lex is good because he is a genius and uh, it just sucks that moment was ruined. I'm sorry. This James Gunn is a great director, but I think he lets himself get in his own way sometimes. Something we brought up in the non-spoiler review was this movie is really funny, and there's certain points that aren't as funny, in my opinion. And I feel like that's the James Gunn sense in it, which I feel bad blaming just James Gunn, but I really wish that like it was taken a little bit more serious at certain parts.
I don't know. I think it worked quite well, especially since this was his nod to an ode to comic book movies,
Mhm.
or I'm sorry, comic books, in the form of a movie. And I thought it just worked so well. Again, back in our non-spoiler review, I mentioned how, yes, it does have moments where some jokes aren't as funny as others that do land, but I think that's kind of what makes the jokes that do land work,
Mhm.
because it builds up to those jokes, and it just gets you, prepped and amped for it, warms you up. And it just feels like reading a comic book. Again, you open a comic book, not every joke in there is going to land. A comic book isn't always supposed to be Deadpool. So it just really hits better. I think it's really well pieced together for the whole, rather than just the focus on the individual jokes that don't land. But again, like humor is probably the most subjective thing in all of
Yeah.
entertainment. So, it's going to hit at all of us differently. So yeah, I mean, what works for you won't work for me. But yeah, I think it works well here personally.
Yeah. I'm just excited to see what they do next because this was super comic book. Like, there was things in that non-spoiler review that I couldn't say, but now I can say now. They introduced pocket universes. I can't believe they introduced pocket universes. Like, that's insane. Like, that's a deep pull. And so it's just so interesting because it's just so different, something that I haven't seen before. And to bring stuff in like that, I think it really does show that like James Gunn loves these comic books and I think he's gonna really pander to the fans a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I wouldn't say pandering to the fans as much as it would be like, just putting his heart on the screen with what he loves as a fan, and just what, every other fan coincidentally loves as well. Pocket universes, I think, is such an interesting concept, especially when you have someone as crazy as Lex Luthor in charge of those in this movie, or has pr- like probably the only money in the world to really, come up with those. And it's just such an interesting take, especially on a movie where you're really just starting things out with pocket universes. And I was kind of worried at first because I thought, oh, great, is this another multiverse thing we're getting off from the get go? And while it does play into that idea, like, oh, multidimensional stuff, it doesn't really warrant the Marvel kind of sense of multiverse, or the Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of multiverse situation.
Mhm.
It could lead into that later on, but from this movie alone, the way it stands, it doesn't. It just focuses on this pocket universe and focuses on multidimensional, as if like, okay, you got your two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, kind of situation. So it's really more isolated, which really makes this movie work while simultaneously bringing in that multiversal aspect. Something that was interesting that you knew right out of the gate was, oh, Ultraman is a clone of Superman.
Oh yeah.
And me not being as much of a DC, I mean, I basically mainly focus on Batman and the Flash when it comes to DC. But here, I had no idea what Ultraman was. I honestly thought it was kind of like more like a Ultra. I didn't even know Ultraman was DC. I thought Ultraman was just some sort of Japanese superhero
No.
that was part of an anime and like part of the culture. I don't know. But here I'm just like, oh, so he's just a looks like Spider-Man Noir kind of thing going on, or like Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the Spider-Man Far From Home.
The Boys.
Well,
Yeah,
that
that
guy
guy in The
too.
Boys. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just didn't think much of him, and so I'm like, oh, he's just like a really strong dude that Luther probably amped up a bit. And then when we get to like, oh, how'd they get into the his what was the Superman
Fortress of
Fortress of
Solitude.
Solitude,
Yes.
not Solitude in my brain at all name, but no, it they go in there. It's like, oh wow, like how'd they do that? And you're kind of like thinking it's got to be something. He's got to have some sort of element of his DNA. But I just always thought like, oh, he has like a hair in his pocket or something. But when it's finally revealed towards the end, like, oh no, it's a clone of Superman. I was like, oh, that we're really bringing that into the fray, like in a first movie. Like a lot of these things that have been brought into these types of movies later on, whether it be in sequels or after some more buildup, James Gunn is unafraid to bring it to the forefront here. And that gets me excited so much for what's to come. Because if storylines like this, which take a lot of buildup uh to lead to,
Hmm.
are introduced right out of the gate here and are resolved right out of the gate here, that the sky's the limit with this one.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what my first thought was when they entered the Fortress of Solitude? I'm like, oh man, is this like a J.J. Abrams Superman flyby where Lex is part Kryptonian? And then it was revealed it was. I was like, thank God. But I think, yeah, you made up such a good point. Like this, this universe is already created. Basically, we're not having an origin story and be like, how did Superman get? No, like we're here. There's already heroes here. We have Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, the Justice Gang, but I think that's such a good point of this world is already created, so now we can go in the sandbox and just go explore.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. I'm not sure what everyone else thinks, but on my second viewing, we've both seen the movie twice
Mhm.
at this point. Go and see it again, definitely sometime soon. My second viewing, I sat right next to someone that was like obviously a huge Snyderverse person.
Oh.
And they, by the end of the movie during the credits, they made it known. Like he was just saying, like basically trying to pull every single excuse for why the movie sucked and was really actively looking for, something to hate on this movie. Like, oh my gosh, it's so unserious and it's so what was it? Like there's so many plot holes and like gosh, I Snyder did so much better. We should have just continued that. This required so much build up and yet here it's just like introduced right away. What the heck? So, I'm not sure if there's going to be a decent enough crowd that's going to be holding such disdain for this
Mhm.
movie like that. Um, I always thought that was always fictitious and, maybe it was like some bots that were coming up with that online, but it was interesting to actually have it in person, someone actively looking for
Yeah.
stuff to hate in this movie and was like trying to really boost up the Snyderverse. And nothing wrong with if you love the Snyderverse, but my gosh,
Henry Cavill's a good Superman.
yeah,
It's okay to like both of them.
yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, one of our favorite podcasters, John Campea, loved this movie and Man of Steel,
Yeah.
one of his favorites too. So, everyone's different, but if you go out of your like, I can't imagine going into a movie and actively looking for things you don't like as you're watching the movie. It why not look for things that you actively like? Like people. The whole point of the movie is about kindness and just being the best person you can be. Obviously, this person didn't learn their lesson, and just I hope that even if you do like the Snyderverse better, that you're not going into this movie looking for reasons to hate it.
Well, in this movie, like we both gave it a 9 out of 10, and I would still stick at that 9 out of 10 level. This movie's really, really good. It's not perfect, but it's really, really good. And I think it's fair. Like, I was recently sent a meme about Thor: Love and Thunder, and when he covers his like face, and it was like me sneaking in to see Superman, even though I'm a Marvel fan. Listen up, you can like both of these. Like I know we have Fantastic Four coming out, and trust me, like Ethan knows this. I'm the biggest Fantastic Four fan, and I really hope this movie is good. But Superman won't ruin Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four won't ruin Superman for me. I can enjoy both of them. I just want good movies.
Like, why wouldn't you want that? Like,
Mm.
it's just kind of like a no-brainer here, but I don't know. Some of us have those things called brains, and some of us don't. Kidding. But, but, but no, I would say, you brought up keeping yours at a 9 out of 10. After watching it a second time, I was really teeter-tottering on, like, do I want to give it a 10? Because, like, my main gripe with the movie is just that it's too short. I
Yeah.
think there should have been more room for development of the press team and all that. But at the same time, after watching it the second time, I'm like, you know what? I would give the theatrical versions of Lord of the Rings, 10 out of 10.
Mm.
But the extended cuts I would give an 11 to, right?
Mhm.
I'm kind of thinking maybe that's the way I should teeter for, the Superman movie, where if this is the version we get, absolute 10. I loved it. I want to go see it again, um, and stay in that theater nonstop if they'll let me.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, if there's an extended cut that provides to me what this movie I think was, lacking, then that would be an 11.
Mhm.
So I think that I might, at the end of the day, and again, my number can always change,
Mhm.
but if someone were to ask me, what's your score for Superman at the end of 2025, I'd probably say more of a 10. And if I were to put on the lower end, 9.75.
Okay. It's totally fair.
You judging me?
No, of course not.
Let it be known.
Supergirl is introduced in this film, which I know kind of leaked beforehand. For me, I didn't hear about it, so I was super excited to see her. It makes me excited for her movie because her movie's the next one, and I really just want to explore this world more. Do you want to hear my theory about what happens?
No, we're on a podcast. I don't want to hear you.
Okay. So, I think they introduced the engineer in this film, and the engineer is a part of the Authority, and the Authority was a movie that James Gunn brought up, and I know not many people know about them. They're morally great characters. They kill their villains, basically. They're like anti-heroes, I guess, the best way to describe them. I think Lex Luthor is actually developing the Authority, so Midnight, those other characters, a part of the Authority, and Superman 2 will introduce the Authority because Superman is way too trustworthy, and the Authority is kind of gonna break his trust, basically. I think that'd be super interesting because Superman is this all good being that we got to see, and I think it'd be interesting what happens when you bring in these characters that break his will.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be an interesting one. I know a lot of the stories that come across as the ones that stand out the most for Superman are the what if Superman turned evil or what if,
Mhm.
he's broken. And throughout this movie, it felt like he was always at his worst. Like even though he kept up his strength and poise, for the most part, and even when he let down, like he still at heart was the person that he was born and raised to be. And he it's unwavering. Now, here that would for the future, you might have to go that direction because that would be his next lowest low. Um this one, brings him to a significant low, but not as far as what you were mentioning.
Mhm.
So that would be an interesting take on things. Hopefully not in the area of Man of Steel where it gets all too symbolic and metaphorical, but
It would be interesting because Man of Steel kind of played into that with Zod
yeah,
and him being like, "I have to kill this guy because even though I don't want to, he's Kryptonian, like, he's like me, but I have to kill him." So, I don't know, I'm excited to see The Authority. I think after seeing this movie, that was, like, the first movie I thought of,
yeah.
before Supergirl even. I was like, "Oh, The Authority's gonna slap." So
And it's an interesting thought that I only had at the second viewing of Superman was the Creature Commandos, right?
Mhm.
That show came out as more like a soft start off for the DCU, and Rick Flag is in both, so seeing his reaction towards the end where it's like now metahumans rule the world is such an interesting thing. Like, you kind of get a new perspective on, his little contemplation there at the end because of his experience with metahumans and creature commandos. Now, creature commandos, that takes place before Superman, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it definitely gives us that really interesting perspective of things with his experience with metahumans and where he might lean towards in the future. So, that's going to be an interesting dynamic he has with the government and at the same time his compatriots with, in metahumans. So, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting world that James Gunn has set up. But speaking of the future, we have the Woman of Tomorrow here
Yes.
that is introduced at the very end of the movie in Supergirl. And you have thoughts.
I do. So, James Gunn has said that he is basing a lot of his new movies off comic books. So the comic book he's basing it off of is Woman of Tomorrow. Now, again, it's like not even like 4 lines that Supergirl says. She comes in and she's like, "Yeah, I just got drunk off a planet." Like, not drunk off a planet. I got drunk from a planet. And I just don't know because the Supergirl that I grew up on was a cold-hearted, didn't like humans because she didn't grow up on Earth, very different from Clark. And so, and again, it's way too early to tell, and I shouldn't be making this judgment. But I did get a little bit nervous just on the vibe I got.
I think it kind of leans into that character, though, that you exactly described. Someone that has a cousin that is absolutely devoted to, the humans of Earth and protecting Earth and loves humans and every living creature. And then his cousin, who has a strong disdain for it, but obviously isn't going to do much about it, even though that desire is there. So it would make sense why she would want to go party and escape and get drunk on a different world.
Yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I really know I'm prejudging her, but, like, Supergirl ends up being a Red Lantern, like, that, like, rage, and so that's what I want from Supergirl. Like, this was all hope. I want full-on rage.
Like in the comics and all
Yes,
that.
in the comics.
Uh,
So, I think it would just be it would be such a contrast that I really wanna see.
Yeah, that would be interesting, and I think, again, idea might play a significant part as we keep moving forward in these movies, and in this universe, but, yeah, I don't think her entry via this movie and introduction just leaned away from that. No, I think it leaned absolutely towards exactly what you're describing,
Yeah.
just someone that wants to escape that mentality, gets drunk, and just, is basically making herself borderline insane seem insane and like a party girl, because, I mean, that's what most party girls typically are, people that are hiding something like a secret depression. Therapist Ethan here, with no degree. Do not trust anything I'm saying.
No.
But no, that they typically are people that are trying to escape their current problem. And with Clark, it was more of like, I'm just gonna walk away because I know something, if I stay, something might go wrong. Or if I keep going, then I just have to make sure I hit a limit of how far I take it. With her, it's like, no, I gotta leave world and, get drunk on a planet I can get drunk on. And just no consideration for how Crypto would treat Superman,
Yeah.
and just like left her left him there and just ventured off to get drunk somewhere else. I mean, yeah, that lines up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, I want to be wrong about my prejudgment of the movie, but it's next year, which is insane to think about. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So I think it'll work just fine.
mhm.
But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm not James Gunn. So
Nope.
nope. As much as I wish I was. Gosh. Yeah, no, it's such an interesting future DC has ahead of it
Mm.
itself here, but we also have this month coming out Fantastic Four. And you said something very interesting after our first viewing of Superman that I'm like, wow, you're really ready to take that stance right out of the gate, even though we've only gotten one of the two movies.
Yeah, so I said because I came out and I really do like Superman. I think it's a really good film. I don't think it's a perfect film. But the thing I said was if this is a 9, I think Fantastic Four has a chance to be a 10. And again, that's just me prejudging it. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen these films, and I guess that's a little bias of me because I love Fantastic Four. It's like my favorite comic book. But again, I don't think Superman won't ruin Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four won't ruin Superman. I want both of these films to be good. And if Fantastic Four can be a 9 out of 10 like Superman, great. I'm there for it. So I do hope it's a 10 out of 10, though.
Hey, we love movies. We want every movie we see to be 10 out of 10s. So, I'm hoping the same thing you are. I don't know, it might be Marvel's Superman in a sense where it's like the series that really started them out, Marvel and DC out, Superman and Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family,
Mm.
taking their first steps into this MCU. And I really hope for the best. I know that Galactus has been one of my favorite Marvel villains.
Mhm.
So just, because I mean, the whole idea of him is just so funny to me.
Oh, no.
I like to believe that he got off planet, like got drunk, and now he has the munchies, like in perpetuity. So, and the only thing that he goes to his local, like, what a planet, and
Oh.
gets the Earth Mars combo. I don't know.
I can't wait for you to see this movie.
Oh, but gosh, I'm looking forward to it as much as you are, and I know you're definitely gonna get that popcorn bucket.
Oh, man. We'll see.
You're saying like, I don't know, and it's gonna be there for you. It's gonna be there for you, and you're like, I gotta. You're gonna use all your AMC points right there and then on that popcorn bucket.
He'll be sitting right here.
Starts talking to you. It's like, ah! Superman 2025 is out. Fantastic Four is on the way. We just had a wonderful, wonderful spoiler conversation with regarding this movie, and we're absolutely looking forward to the future, both the DCU and whatever's to come with Marvel in the next couple of weeks. But guys, we want to hear your takes here. So have you probably have seen the movie at this point, judging by the box office numbers. I mean, it's killing it at the box office just on previews alone. So, I mean, guys, have you seen this movie? Let us know your takes on all of our tapes in the comments down below. And guys, I know sometimes the comments are viewed before the video sometimes. So either way, do give a spoiler heads up for people that are looking through the comments. They should know it's a spoiler video and we'll have spoiler filled comments, but you never know just in case. So give that little all caps spoiler in writing there before you go ahead and share your takes on our tapes. Now with that, Annmarie, I believe it's time to wrap it up.
Let's wrap it.
All right, guys. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, stay with us on our next journey here, and be on the lookout for our Fantastic Four review, along with any other movie reviews we will be having en route. Some of them might be a little more expected than others. I have a few that I want Annmarie to watch that just came out that are gaining a lot of traction.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll let you guys in the know once those come out. But again, thank you for joining us here. And thank you. We hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, whether you have or haven't. Please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And goodbye.
Bye.